Welcome into Citizen Sports Talk. Kaden, Reinhard, Jacob Smith. We're not in our usual venue, Allen Cantrell Court, for the end of the week of the festivities. Regional Quarterfinals. We're here after the game. But first, a bunch of regular season action we have to get to. Still kind of facing the effects of that big snowstorm we had. Pushed everything really just a back-to-back-to-back right into the regional quarterfinals. So let's get it going on Monday, Jacob.
Absolutely. Starting with Floyd County, they were the only two, boys and girls, both played on Monday. Carroll County had the night off. Floyd County, for the boys, were able to get a 72-44 victory at Patrick County. They were undefeated, after the win, undefeated since the 2-week break for the snow. Starting with the win at the Adamore Class against Perry McClure to this point, the overtime win against Radford, win against James River, Carroll, and continuing that on. But talking about the girls, they were here at home. Me and Bradley Connor were on the call for that one. 57-36 over the Patrick County Cougars, that was the Lady Buffs' second straight win, coming off the overtime loss. I talked to Carly Wade and Coach Sneed, as you remember from the last Sports Talk episode, after the win in Hillsville against Carroll County on Saturday. And it was a really overall team performance. Audrey Miller and Natalie Dalton had two big performances, but it was really a special night, as you know, we're not talking about, obviously the anticipation for tonight's festivities wasn't about the girls having a home postseason game, it was about the boys. Girls on the road to Appomattox, we'll get into that a little bit later, but Coach Sneed and then two of the three seniors, Carly Wade and Madeline Hall, talking with me after the game. Carly Wade and Madeline Hall.
So Coach Sneed, a win here tonight, 2 in a row against the Patrick County Cougars. Between the game Saturday and the game tonight, what have you liked about this team with 2 games left and playoffs coming this week?
Well, I guess the main thing, even as many games that we've had in a row, they were still able to bring a lot of energy, a lot of intensity, and get after it on defense. You know, they just play really well. They just want to win bad.
Back-to-back road games Tuesday and Thursday. How do you prepare this team for the final 2 games of the regular season?
Mentally, you know, we've been talking about it a long time. It's going to be a long stretch. I mean, we knew it was coming. You just got to get ready to play. I mean, it's either now or never. Either we come out of here, we win out and make it on the region, or you get to sit home. So that's your motivation.
And talking a little bit about it, given the potential scenario, Radford loses to Martinsville, if that were to occur, you win your final 2, you'd be back here in this building for the regional quarterfinal. How much of an impact would that be to have that game here at home?
Well, anytime you can play at home like that, I mean, it's a huge impact. You got your hometown fans, and just being in this gym is a big advantage for us.
And if it is the last home game for you 2 seniors, what's your favorite memory from playing here at Allen Cantrell Court?
I would have to say beating Martinsville in overtime here.
I would say the same as Carly, watching Natalie Dalton shoot the corner 3 to put us in overtime, and then watching the feistiness in overtime, getting 2 technicals and still coming out with a win.
And last question for you 2. I asked Isaiah Cantrell this last week. This might be your final 2 or 3 games of your basketball careers. Will there be anything special about those final 3 games, or will it just be another night for you guys?
It's definitely going to be bittersweet for sure. I'm just thankful for my teammates, and my coaches, just everyone. You know, that's what's special about it.
Again, what she said, but we still need to go out here and play like we have been, no matter if it's our last games or not.
Thank you, guys. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Jacob, for the interview with the Buffaloes after their victory on Monday. Going into Tuesday, we'll head down 221 for Cavaliers action. They hosted James River. Both varsity played in their main gym, while their JV played in the auxiliary gym for a little bit of a doubleheader action for the Carroll County varsity teams. We'll start with the girls, because they were the first game at 5:30 that evening. They unfortunately lost their contest to the Knights 51-42. That was the Carroll County Cavaliers 7th straight loss. We've seen a little bit of a momentum builder early in the season, kind of fallen off. Snow's kind of just built upon that and gotten them to that 7th straight loss. They'll look forward to that next game on Wednesday against Glenver, try to end their season on a high note. As for the boys, they were able to pick up a high note on Tuesday, taking down James River in a very low-scoring 49-41 contest. As well on Tuesday, Jacob, we had some Buffaloes action. You want to get into that?
Talking about another low-scoring game, Kaden, 49-35. The Lady Buffs traveling to Glenver, picking up their 3rd straight win. And again, it was a low-scoring game. Both teams only had single digits after 1 quarter of play. Floyd County was able to, build some momentum down the stretch and come away with the win. As for the boys Buffaloes team, they get swept by the Glenver Highlanders, who are the 8th seed in Class 2 Region C's tournament this year. 68-58 was the score that ended the 7-game winning streak that I was talking about earlier. And then transition to Wednesday. This more than likely wraps up Carroll County's season. The boys traveled to Glenver, lost that one 82-78, a little bit more higher scoring than what we saw here on Tuesday night. And for Carroll County girls basketball, we're able to pick up a win on their senior night, 48-46 against Glenver, as Glenver finished the season winless.
Yeah, so a good way for the Carroll County Lady Cavaliers to end their season, like I just mentioned, that 7-game losing streak going into that contest against the winless Glenver Highlanders. Able to end your season on a high note, it's always good.
Absolutely. And not ending the regular season on a high note, Kaden, the Lady Buffs traveling to Martinsville, 53-44 loss for the Lady Buffs. They were at the 5th seed at the time. They were projected to take on the Lady Bobcats in Radford this Friday, but instead they dropped down to 6th. They traveled to Appomattox to take on the Appomattox County Lady Raiders. Just a little bit of a tongue twister there. We'll get into that a little bit later as well when we talk about the girls bracket for Region 2C. Wrapping up the regular season, however, for us here with CCTV, a 63-60 win for the Buffaloes, ending the Martinsville Bulldogs' 13-game winning streak, and the Buffaloes staying at the 3 seed, Martinsville dropping from 1 to 2, and that proved to play big given what we saw with the action on Friday, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
It definitely did. I mean, we've seen that with the Buffaloes so much this year. These split regular season series, they went to Martinsville, lost on the road. They come back here, protect their home court, protect Allen Cantrell Court. And it was the same with the Bobcats in the regular season. They went down the road, up Route 8, lost by a single point in Radford, and then come back here, I believe 8 days ago on February 13th, and beat the Bobcats by a point. So that's just kind of the Buffaloes being able to protect their home court well.
Absolutely. Weren't able to do it against Glenver. That's actually their only home loss this season. I had a chance to talk to Coach Harman and the starting 5 for the Buffaloes. Only 7 bench points for the Buffaloes on Wednesday. So, of course, I had to talk to the starting 5. Each of them played their own pivotal role, and here's a look.
So a big win to end the regular season. To start with you, Coach, what did it mean to have this game at home after traveling to Martinsville about a month ago?
Yeah, the big thing is the last week that we've had here. You know, we've played, I'm going to say 6 games in 8 days, and these guys never quit. We were a little tired last night on that finish, and I think our fatigue showed a little bit last night, and I knew we'd have to come to play tonight, but these guys manned up. I mean, the bench, everybody, the intensity to get that game win any time of the year, but to do it after what we've been through over the last week. Now, Martinsville's 7 out of 9 days too. But, man, these guys didn't back down after what happened down there. And it was a close game down there. The score didn't show it. But just to be here at home and get that last win, get a little momentum. You know, we've been really hot here lately, and but we're going to have to come to play Friday because Radford will be ready.
And talking about that momentum, we'll just go down with all the starting 5. The fourth quarter, really, the start, once Martinsville started getting in some foul troubles, really when the momentum started to shift towards your guys' way. How do you capitalize on that in such a big game like this? We'll start with you, Chasen.
Yeah, just moving the ball and just trying to make them foul, and you got to hit those free throws at the end. If you don't hit those free throws, it's going to get tighter, and they're going to make threes and stuff like that, like they did at the end of the game. You just got, it comes down to the free throws.
I think you could speak highly on that, given
You had 8 points, and all of them came from the line. You, Isaiah?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to build, and I think we did that very well by encouraging each other and continue to get after it on defense, and we were able to keep stretching it.
You, Gavin, you got some memorabilia from this win. Tell us about what you have on right now.
Well, I guess I got the six-man player of the game, but I mean, I couldn't have got it without these guys feeding me the rock. So, very grateful for that. Sorry about that.
I would definitely say the physicality at the end brought definitely from the bigs and Isaiah trying to go dunk on Martinsville's biggest guy. So just the ability to close it out at the end was really good coming into the playoffs, knowing that every game now is going to be really physical and really competitive.
Yeah, I mean, the energy was just electric. I mean, the bench, it was just fun to play.
Talking about Friday, I've heard that it's a district rematch between you guys and Radford. They were just in here less than a week ago. What does it mean to have them back in the building here this coming Friday?
It means a lot. We're going to beat them a lot more than we did right there. It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I think we got to understand that they're out for blood. They're trying to get us again, and we got to be ready to play.
I mean, it's the third time we play them, 1-1 with them. We're out for the series right here.
I think we know what we're getting ourselves into, and I think that we're looking to just close it out with a solid ending to the series and a good start to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if we just play our game, we'll have no problem.
Indeed.
Thank you guys for the time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you, Big J.
Real quick. Thank you, Coach. Thank you to the Buffalo starting five. Speaking of the Buffalo starting five, we're going to talk about their performance against the Radford Bobcats in the regional quarterfinal and plenty more postseason action. You're watching Citizen Sports Talk here on CCTV Channel 20, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Welcome back to Citizen Sports Talk. We've gotten through all the regular season action that concluded this week. Let's talk about the postseason now, Kaden. It's been all building up to this, and what a better way to start if you're a Buffaloes fan than a home playoff game against the Radford Bobcats.
What a way to start, and what a way that this game started, Jacob. The Bobcats, they opened quickly on a 7-2 run. Their big man, Apple, knocking down 2 threes. Kind of unexpected maybe for the Buffaloes to see the big man stretch out the floor like that. But the Buffaloes responded 10-10, tied it back up, and from there it was very neck and neck, bunch of kind of game and runs, physical contest. Jacob, what'd you see?
I saw that, what you mentioned, the last thing you mentioned, the physicality of these teams. Colton Gardner-Rollins stood out big for me tonight. The physicality he brought inside, every basket he had was a contested shot inside off the window, and he had over 10 points on the night. He had 6 baskets. One thing that really surprised me, and we had to ask Daecan about it earlier, which we'll get to that momentarily. Daecan Slaughter's shooting. I haven't really seen him hit many outside the three-point line. He was able to do that 4 times tonight, and that's something we hadn't really seen, and that made the difference down the stretch. That and the Bobcats got into foul trouble late, similar to what we saw with the Martinsville game Wednesday. Floyd County got in the bonus. They made the crucial free throws at the end to ice it.
They did, and I think everybody in this gym, 6:30 today, knew that this contest was going to be close. I mean, the game in Radford on January 20th was a 51-50 contest that the Bobcats took. About a month later, they returned here. The Buffaloes, like I mentioned earlier, they took their contest here by a point as well. So everybody knew it was going to be close. Everybody knew it was going to come down to the wire. And just the way the Buffaloes were able to stick it out. I mean, the third quarter, they were down, I believe, multiple possessions after kind of a short point total in the second quarter. I don't think they scored but a point in the last 4 minutes of that second quarter.
I believe the moment that I'm thinking of was when it was 40-33 in the third quarter, Kaden. The Buffaloes went on I believe it was at one point it was a 17-3 run to build that lead and really gain control. But whenever you thought Radford was out of it, they responded. They were able to get back into it, make it a close game, and again, Floyd County was able to pull it out. 62-55 was the final here. Buffalo's moving on to the regional semifinals at Franklin County High School.
We'll get more into next week's action in the semifinals, but tonight we had the pleasure of talking with Coach Harman and the player of the game. We say 23 points for Daecan Slaughter. Here's their interview post-game.
A big win here from Allen Cantrell Court. The Buffaloes taking down the Bobcats in a rematch from less than a week ago, Coach. How difficult was it to have an opponent that you've had to play twice in the span of a week?
Yeah, it's true. You know, it's not easy, and it's Radford, so that don't make it easy either. And they came to play. They were physical and made some big threes. I could tell in warm-ups they had a bounce to them that it wasn't like they were going to walk in here and just let us win. And it was a dogfight most of the game, and we're just blessed that we come out with the win.
That kind of end of the second quarter, start of the third quarter, a little bit of a lull for y'all. What did it take to get out of that?
I think it was the halftime speech. I may have broke my toe on a chair in there, and I just felt like they outworked us a little bit there. And when you get an opportunity this time of year to put somebody away or build that lead, you've got to do it because flashback to last year, Graham, I mean, we were up 10, turn around, then it's tie ball game. And you can't, this time of year, you cannot leave teams still in the game. And I was trying to get that through to them. Look, we're here. You know your goals. You don't want to miss that opportunity. So we need a better second half than we had first half, effort-wise.
So that was the halftime speech. What about that fourth quarter speech? Kind of slurry of timeouts. What did you tell you?
Well, when we started the fourth quarter, I kind of knew what had happened in the other side with who we were going to play. And I told them before we went out in the fourth quarter, I said, give me all you got this quarter. I got a present for you after the game. And, who we play is still going to be an extremely tough game, but it's a different opponent, so it's something new there. But every time, I just kept telling them, look, we're going to win this game. Play strong, play physical, play with confidence. And I felt like we did that most of the time. We missed some shots, might have had a turnover, a couple defensive lulls, but when it come down to it, we really took care of the ball and got it done.
Looking ahead, you're talking about that change in opponent. Martinsville was more than likely the favorite going into said matchup tonight. Now it's the Gretna Hawks on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. What's the preparation Monday and Tuesday looking like for you and your team getting ready for an opponent you probably, one, you haven't played already. You had the advantage with Martinsville playing them twice. An opponent you haven't faced yet, and an opponent you probably weren't expecting going into the night.
Yeah, I agree, because we first started, thought we were going to play Dan River, so I was working on them a little bit, and then after we beat Martinsville, we went back to Radford. I know nothing about Gretna, a little bit about them because they got there a couple years ago. But, they're in a tough league. They had Dan River and they had Nelson, so Alta Vista. They're in a very tough league. So just because they're the 7th seed, I still say they're probably 16-6 or 17-5. So I don't know much about them. I know they'll be athletic. I know they're coached pretty decently. So we'll get some game film on them this weekend and just see where we can hopefully take advantage of some things on our end.
Yes, sir. Daecan, transitioning to you. I asked before we started, 20-point performance with 4 triples. What did they feed you tonight before the game?
Coach made some bomb lasagna, had bread and some salad, and a sweet tea.
The sweet tea was the difference, right? Usually we haven't seen that kind of performance from you shooting from outside that consistently. What was the difference tonight? Or was it just a confidence thing in your ability? Was it just the opportunities that you had against this Bobcats defense?
Well, I seen the first one go in and they weren't stepping up, and it was there, and I had the confidence to shoot it. So
it wasn't just your ability to stretch the floor tonight. Interiorly, you were getting a bunch of second chance efforts for the Buffaloes. What were you seeing on those?
Just a lot of hustle from everyone. We made the right passes and we were being smart.
He had a big one on a free throw there that we missed, and he grabbed it in front and got fouled. I don't know, he may have went 1 of 2, he may have went 2 of 2, I don't know, but that was a big possession of getting that rebound on that missed free throw.
I think that's everything. Kaden, do you have anything else?
That's about it from Allen Cantrell Court.
Coach, Daecan, congrats on the win. Good luck on Wednesday.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Glad to live another day, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Daecan. Phenomenal performance for Slaughter and the rest of the Buffaloes crew. So they were able to get a regional quarterfinal win, looking to build on the success they had from 12 months ago, making it to the Final Four in the state tournament. But other teams looking to do that. Some are going home tonight, ending their season. Some tonight are continuing their season. Looking at the bracket for the boys first, we'll talk about the girls in a little bit. 72-64, Liberty Bedford coming away with the victory over the Glenver Highlanders. Glenver at this point led by over double digits, and Liberty was on upset watch, but they were able to come back and get the victory over Glenver 72-64. Staying on that same side of the bracket, Kaden, a Dogwood District rematch. Nelson County taking down Dan River 51-38. It'll be Liberty and Nelson taking on each other in the first matchup on Wednesday at the Regional Semifinals in Franklin County High School. As for the Buffalo side of the bracket, obviously the 62-55 score here, but a big upset occurred in the region tonight. The 7th seed, Gretna, taking down Martinsville 67-66 in 4 quarters. So after looking at the other matchups, Kaden, in the boys playoff for the region, what stood out to you the most?
I think that Glenville and Liberty Bedford game is probably the most surprising. We were kind of keeping an eye on it while we've been filming our other segments tonight. And what we almost thought was going to be a gift that the Buffaloes were going to be the lowest seed remaining. Liberty's still in there. So just moving on to the semifinals, it's kind of an area the Buffaloes are used to. So getting to host one more game here is more than comfortable for them.
I think you meant the highest seed there.
Yeah.
We have a scenario where the Lady Buffs may be that lowest seed remaining, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So again, recapping what's next, or previewing the matchups the next week. Nelson County, Liberty Bedford, the 1-4 matchup. Gretna and Floyd County, the 7-3 matchup. Both matchups will be played at Franklin County High School on Wednesday. The Liberty Bedford Nelson County to start, and then the Gretna Floyd County game to follow. And then you want to just jump straight into the girls bracket, Kaden, and see what we got in store there. The Lady Buffs having a big game in Appomattox.
They definitely did, and that's kind of another trend of the upsets we've seen. Buffaloes, it was a huge victory for them. I mean, traveling on the road to the Dogwood District, an unfamiliar opponent, when it's easy when you've got a game like this. The Buffaloes and the Bobcats, you've played each other twice in the regular season, but these Dogwood opponents, there's a difference about them.
And something else that we need to point out, the 4, 5, 6, 7th, and 8th seed for the girls' Region 2C, all coming from the same district. So they've had to play each other twice, take each other out, fight for these wins. It just tells you how competitive, one, the district was as a whole, two, how the Lady Buffs may prove they were better than what the 6th seed next to their name showed tonight.
They definitely did.
Looking at some other matchups in the region, the undefeated Chatham Lady Cavaliers take down James River 59-28. A 31-point victory for the Cavaliers to stay undefeated and 1 win away from state tournament appearance. A Three Rivers District matchup at the 4-5 spot. We saw a Dogwood District rematch in the 4-5 for the boys. Radford taking down Patrick County 62-53. Liberty taking down Martinsville 49-23. Floyd County will take on the Liberty Bedford Lady Minutemen in the Class 2 Region C semifinals for the girls at 8 o'clock on Tuesday.
It's going to be an exciting semifinals of action for the girls tournament, just as it will be for the boys next week.
And obviously those two events headline next week, Kaden. What else should we be expecting in the next week for Cavalier and Buffaloes athletics?
Well, you said headline. That kind of really helps us have a next week. Besides that, for the Buffaloes, it would only be a matchup on Sunday. You'll be watching this on Saturday evening, but Sunday, just the boys and girls indoor track team heading down to Roanoke for their regional tournaments there. Look if they can extend upon their state championship last year, go back-to-back in 2026. But for the Cavaliers, Obviously, neither of them made even the regional quarterfinals for basketball, but their MAC team does have 2 matches next week. On Monday, they'll host Graham in Carroll County, and then on Thursday, the 26th, rounding out their week will be a matchup in Galax.
Absolutely. And obviously, talking about Floyd County, we mentioned it, headlining next week, the semifinal matchup for the Lady Buffs on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, approximate tip-off there, and the Buffaloes taking on Gretna on Wednesday at approximately 8 o'clock. A lot of it will depend on how those 6 o'clock games go Tuesday and Wednesday beforehand. And, of course, if both the Lady Buffs and the Buffaloes win on Tuesday and Wednesday respectively, they will be playing for a regional championship on Friday at Franklin County High School.
Definitely, and that experience is going to help these teams come the semifinals. With the girls, it's that coaching experience. Head coach Ross Sneed will have that advantage. And for the Buffaloes, they were in the Final Four last year of the entire state tournament. So the regional semifinals, should be a breeze for them.
Absolutely, Kaden. That's going to be it for us this week at Allen Cantrell Court for this edition of Citizen Sports Talk. Hopefully next week we might be in Franklin County recapping regional championships, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But signing off this week, Jacob Smith, Kaden Reinhard. Thank you for watching Citizen Sports Talk. Have a great rest of your weekend, ladies and gentlemen.